Hi, I'm Jennifer Welch. I am an interior designer in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I have been working in the industry for 25 years. My mother worked with an interior designer growing up, and I would see her presentations, and I thought it was so cool. And I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, there was that book, Color Me Beautiful, where you'd figure out if you were a summer, a fall, a spring, or winter. Well, this was the Bible to my mother. I mean, she took it to the department stores when we shopped, and she would say, Jennifer, this is not your color. That doesn't go with your skin tone. You're a summer. And so I think I was exposed to color and textiles and design as a child, and then went to college and didn't formally study interior design, but after college started working for an interior designer, and just it all, my brain completely computed everything. I was able to visualize what a space would look like finished. I could even scale things out in my mind, like this would fit here, this would look great there. But it was an evolution. And then once I started doing it consistently and then went out on my own, I evolved a lot as a designer. I think when I was younger, I was on the debate team and a cheerleader in high school, both. So I kind of always thought I would be an attorney. And I'm so grateful that I'm not, because my dearest friend is a divorce attorney, and that is not fun. And my husband has practiced criminal law in the past, and now he's about to get back into it. And that it's tough. And so the interior design world is a lot more fun and moving. It's a moving industry, and it relates to so many different forms of art, from art to photography to fashion to travel. Interior design is infused into all of those things. And all of those things are my passion. I think the place where it seems like interior design is heading, which I really like, is everybody seems to just be doing what looks good. Instead of, I don't like when interior design gets focused on what are the trends? What are the trends? Well, the trends are going to change. Like the whole color of the year thing is the biggest pet peeve of mine, because you've got 365 days for that color to be a color, and then it's immediately replaced. So I try to avoid that altogether. And hey, if the people make the color of the year and they're laughing all the way to the bank, good for them. But typically I tell clients, we need to do what looks good, and we need to do what is going to look good for you for about 10 years. Like, we can't focus on this little trend that's hot right now. And so you see maximalism, you still see minimalism, you see the convergence of kind of traditional decor coming back, but it all seems to be in. And what's the common thread among all of those things is what looks good and what looks balanced. And the stuff that doesn't look great to me is the uber trendy stuff. Light fixtures are incredibly important to me. I think that they are pieces of art hanging from the ceiling. And anytime clients say, well, our lighting budget is only this, I'm always like, you need to expand that, because this is the jewelry hanging down from your ceiling, and it is so important. So I think a lot of people that go into homes that I've designed for clients are able to say, oh my gosh, these lights are so unique. They're so incredible. And I think that curating looks for clients, one of the key things to do is to mix some unexpected things that blend really well that you wouldn't typically see together. It's very easy to get on Pinterest or on Instagram and see a design and say, I want my house to look exactly like this. That's easy to do because you can go out and there's, the creme de la creme product, and then there's going to be 75 knockoffs because we live in America, the biggest capitalistic society in the world. So everybody's going to make a, cheaper version of what you may want. So I think the key is to mix a lot of different things. And I think lighting is a key way to let your space stand out against all of the other spaces that you might see. Oklahoma City has a lot of oil and gas companies here. So it is not like on the forefront of everybody's mind to be environmentally sound, or conscious. However, we are a city, and a purple city at that. And I recently did a home where my clients bought Tesla solar panels for the top of their house. And I am recommending to every client that's doing new construction or a remodel, let's go ahead and put plugs in the garage, because that's where it's heading. Whether the oil and gas companies like it or not, we're all going to be driving electric cars in 10 or 15 years. And that's just where the technology is heading. I do think that in the future, the constant buying new stuff, every time you move, you get rid of all of that furniture and buy new furniture. I do think with the issue going on with the planet and just how much we are overusing things, that we are going to see a lot more vintage stuff coming back and repurposing things and more eco-friendly fabrics. And so I am seeing, even in a place like Oklahoma City that's not super environmentally conscious, I do see clients starting to adopt to what the future is going to bring. A lot of my favorite projects are projects where my clients have a vacation home. And so I have some clients that have a vacation home in Maui, which for a gal that lives in Oklahoma City to work on a project in Maui, that's very exciting. I've done projects in Palm Springs, in Colorado, in Florida, in Richmond, Virginia, and then New Hampshire. There's this darling little beach town called Rye, New Hampshire. I never thought in a million years I'd go to New Hampshire, and it's this classic East Coast beach town with a rocky beach. And my client was very East Coast. She was super cool. She walked her dog on the beach every day. And so the travel that being a designer has afforded me to kind of get a snapshot into other people's lives in the United States, or these great swanky vacation homes, that has just been a total treat. And those are always my favorite homes to do. We have a podcast called I've Had It, and this is great. It's really not about interior design. It's about myself and my very best friend of 20 plus years, and all of the things by the time you get to be our age that you've absolutely had it with, and you have enough confidence to not have to engage in pleasantries all the time because you've kind of cut your teeth in the world and you're like, you know what? I've had it with that. And so episode 1 is titled Toddlers Are Assholes. And anybody who's been around a toddler or has had a toddler knows that this is true, but it's considered impolite to maybe criticize a child. Well, we're past that. I mean, we're completely past that. So the podcast is really taking off. It's charting incredibly. And it's just kind of a little fun side hustle. If you design as long as I have, you can get some burnout with the post-COVID design world in particular, with supply chain being so whacked out, and clients came out of quarantine like, I need it now. And there's not much you could do because the supply chain was so much bigger and it was a global issue. And so the podcast has been a really fun side hustle that has allowed me to be choosier with which design projects I want. And kind of have boundaries with clients going into it, that this is the way it's going to go down. And I'm going to make a great home for you, but let's all be reasonable. When you meet me, I'm very warm, friendly, outgoing, appear to be extroverted. In my heart, I'm a total introvert. I go to bed at 8:30, 9 p.m. every night. I wake up at 4:30, 5 a.m. I despise going to parties or events. I mean, I absolutely cannot stand it. I just would go to the ends of the earth to avoid it. But if I show up, I am gracious and outgoing and bubbly and all of these things. But on the inside, I'm thinking, I bet my bed wonders where I am.